Hey friends, Sam here. Thanks for watching another video. Today I thought we could do something a bit different and take a look at all the all the handheld consoles I currently have in my collection. This time last year I had none of this except for these two, and that was it. As soon as Corona started, I didn't have work and was running out of stuff to do, and I was on YouTube one day and saw some retro videos on Game Boys and stuff, more specifically Elliot Cole at the Retro Future, and decided, hey, that looks cool, and kind of started my interest into it. And since then I just decided to buy some, sell some, fix them up, and only recently decided to make my own YouTube channel about it. So I thought today I could just have a run through some of the consoles that I have in my collection, and maybe, who knows, this time next year it could be smaller, it could be a lot larger. So let's just get straight into it. Starting off with, well, as I said, this was the first one that I had, because this originally was my childhood DS Lite, but I reshelled it into a smoked clear Z Labs shell. Well, I know it's not Z Lab branded, but did that as my first ever proper mod. It was a bit of a nightmare, honestly. As you can see, if you look in about right there, you can see I messed up the foam a bit and it's a bit angled, but other than that, everything else works fine. And it was my first ever step into modifying consoles. Yeah, I think I did a pretty good job. I went for the smoked look because I wasn't a massive fan of the clear. This smoked one turned out really well and I like it. It was a bit of a pain in the ass to put together because the shell quality isn't the same as OEM, but still good nonetheless, and I was very happy with it. I'm probably going to start over in this corner now because I started with the middle and now my OCD's gone crazy. So over here is Play It Loud Edition Clear DMG Game Boy. You can see I'm starting, actually I don't know if you can see, I think I'm starting to get some horizontal lines appearing in this thing, which is a bit unfortunate. Maybe you can see a tiny bit there, I don't know. But I bought this one from Marketplace with a couple games and stuff and gave it a good clean up. And it's probably one of my favorite DMGs out there, because as you can see next to it is a original grey one. Now this one, I haven't done anything to it yet. I have all intentions of retro brighting and cleaning this and making a video out of it. At the moment you can see it works perfectly fine, but it needs a very good clean. And the screen lens, I'm pretty sure, is just lightly taped in. Yeah, you can see it's just fallen out, but I want to do a good resto video on this because I think that'll be really good, and I've never done retro brighting before, so it'd be a good step into that. But as you can see, like, it's absolute filth and just needs a good clean in general. But I got this from Sendigo, or let me just say 90% of all this is from Sendigo, so if you haven't checked out Sendigo, go ahead and do that. Next here is a Game Boy Color. You can see the screen's a bit gross there. I do have a funny playing IPS screen mod to go into this thing. I just haven't got around to doing it yet. Plus I've never done one before, so it's a bit daunting, but I'm sure it'll be a fine process once I get into it. But everything else, aside from the screen, obviously, everything else works perfectly fine. And I'm just a bit torn as to whether or not I want to reuse this shell, because it is good, but it's a bit yellowed. I figure if I'm going to do an IPS mod, I may as well just get a brand new shell as well and make it look pretty crispy. But yeah, so when I finally get the IPS in there, it'll look awesome. Until then, it's kind of a bit of an eyesore, but that's alright. Next one here is a Game Boy Pocket. As you can see, it's got no screen, because the video I did on repairing a polarizer filter on a Game Boy Pocket on the green one, I started repairing the screen that came in that green one, but it ended up, I broke it. So I had to use another screen. This one did have another damaged screen in it, so now I'm down a screen. So who knows, maybe in the future one of these Game Boy Pockets can get an IPS screen, and this one will get, or one of the other ones will get an old screen, so it'll actually work. But you can see it works perfectly fine. If you listen, it does have sound, everything works fine, it's just the screen is missing. But I'm still not sure if this is an original shell or not, because it looks way too good condition to be original. The stick is a bit off-centered, and so is that one too, and it's just too clean. So I don't think this is an original shell, but either way, it looks good. And next here is one of my favorite designs of the Game Boy Pocket. It's obviously the DMG style. It's not in the greatest condition. Like, it looks like it presents pretty well, but if you catch it on the angle up here, you can see there's a bit of damage to the screen in the corners. you can barely see it and you barely notice it while you're playing it, because the way you look at it, it's just like dead on like that and you don't really notice it. But everything here is all original. You turn over the back, you see that the sticker's got a bit of damage to it, and you'll notice that the battery cover is actually taped down because it's broken. I tried to find a replacement one, but the grey is super hard to find, so I just thought, hey, I'm just going to tape it on there, it's going to stay on. I don't change the batteries that often because I don't play it like religiously like I used to as a kid, so it's not going to die that quick. But it has a bit of wear to it, and I kind of like that. Plus it works perfect anyway. Although you can see, if you catch it on certain angles, it looks like it's starting to get a bit of screen burn. But that's nowhere near as bad as some of the other ones I've seen, so I'm not going to be looking at replacing that because it doesn't really need to be done. And it's a long process and it kind of is annoying. But this one's fine and I'm happy with that. Now this one I spoke about in a previous video is obviously the yellow Game Boy Pocket. And I had one exactly like this as a kid. And I don't know why, but the yellow is just so cool. The yellow looks a lot better in person than it does on the camera. It looks a little washed out on the camera. But I don't know, man, like there's something about the yellow that just looks very, very crisp and cool. Plus also a bit of nostalgia there because I had one as a kid. The Game Boy Pocket, as you can tell because it's the one I have the most of here, is my favorite Game Boy of all time. Because it's just small, cool, it's got a big screen on it as well as being small, and it's just a bit cool. Okay, moving on. Now, I'm probably going to cover these two together because they are mix match. So I bought a 2DS off of Marketplace, and it was just this one. It was the standard black and blue, and I found out not long after I bought that in Japan you can actually get clear black ones, but in Japan only. And I thought that is very cool, so I kept my eye on Sendico to see if I could find a damaged or broken 2DS with the clear black shell. And I did. I bought this one I think for about 2,000 yen, maybe a bit less, maybe like 1,500 yen from Sendico. And it had a scratched, well you can see here, it had a scratched up digitizer, and you see if I turn it on, the screen's actually shattered. So what I did was I just transferred all the Australian 2DS stuff into the clear shell. So now I have, and even transferred over the digitizer. So now I have a perfectly working Australian 2DS in the Japanese only clear shell. And that's exactly what I wanted. You can just see that the clear smoked black shell is super cool. Now if you look on the back you can see it's got a bit of scratches and stuff, but you don't really look at the back. Plus it's got a bit of wear, which I don't know, man, kind of just gives it a bit of character. And a couple little marks around the side and whatnot, but this looks so much better than the standard black and blue, and I really appreciate it. So maybe in the future I can go ahead and actually fix this screen and get a new one of these, and then I'll just have a good condition Japanese 2DS. But I'm pretty sure, I'm not 100%, but I'm pretty sure you can mod these to make them region free anyway, which I did not know when I did the shell swap, because if I did then I could have just bought another one and region swapped it. But maybe just save that for a future video. I've just got this sitting in a drawer, so when I want to come back to it and fix the screen I can. Moving on. Okay, so I've got this PSP. You can see it's missing the joystick and it's got writing on the screen. The writing on the screen says that the screen is smashed because, well, the screen's smashed and it needs a new battery, but that's fine, I have a spare lying around. So what I was doing with this one was I was going to repair it, fix the screen, fix the joystick, and then probably either display it or sell it, I'm not too sure. So when I bought this from Sendico with a bunch of other stuff, I immediately ordered a replacement screen because they were like $15 on eBay from China, and they were going to take 2 months to come in. Now I wasn't working at the time, but the day it was supposed to come in I started my new job and I wasn't home. So it then got delivered to the wrong address, and Australia Post told me that they couldn't do anything about it and they refunded me, but they didn't give me the screen, which is really annoying because, as I said, it was a 2-month wait. I went to go reorder another one and they went up like 3 times the price, like $30 to $40 for a screen now, which is quite annoying because from Sendico you can buy used PSPs with working screens for that price. and they get here quicker than they do from China. So that was extremely frustrating because I was very excited to put a new screen to this thing and get it all ready and clean because I like doing PSP stuff. When I first got one, which was this one here, it was a bit daunting opening up and stuff, but now it's super easy and I actually really enjoy the PSP stuff. A bit better than Game Boy, if I'm honest. So yeah, maybe I'll order a new screen when the prices come back down again, or get another parts one and fix this one up because it's a super cool color. Because I'm pretty sure in Australia we only got the basic grey and silver and white, whereas in Japan I've had some other ones come through, red ones, this mint green one which is awesome, and I sold it and I regret that. But anyways, yeah, this one works perfectly fine except for the screen, so I really want to get a new screen for this so I can make a video on it fixing it because PSPs are cool. Now these two, these are just 3DS's, the smaller ones. These actually came with this. I bought that, and that for, well, the original one of this for 90 Australian dollars on Marketplace, or 80, and it came with like 20 games as well. I don't know how, it was up for ages, so I thought it might have been a scam, but I went there to go buy it, and yeah, 80 Australian dollars for 3 DS's and like 20 games. And there were some good titles there as well. Mind blowing. I don't know how or why, but it happened and I'm really happy about that. So I've got two 3DS's here and they both work awesome. I ended up just keeping this one for myself and gave this one to my girlfriend because we just kind of wanted to play Mario Kart because Mario Kart's cool and I really enjoy how you can just play from one to the other without having 2 games, even though we ended up buying another game because we wanted more levels. But with this one, I had an issue where it's pretty common, where the ribbon cable had a pinch in it, so when you opened it, the 3D was just permanently on, which hurts your eyes a lot. So I had to go in and replace that ribbon cable in the top, which was a pain to do. It was really annoying, but at least it works perfectly now. So I had to take off the front, get to the ribbon cable, solder the speakers onto the new ribbon cable, remove the old one from the back of the board. It was a whole thing. And in the process, I ended up damaging the side here. A little bit of isopropyl seeped down the gap there and started loosening the glue, which then made some weird cracks in it, which at first I was annoyed about, but I have no intention of selling this, so it doesn't really bother me that much. And I got 2 of them, so here we are. So there's those 2 as well. Now this one I'm including because it's the first DS I ever made and it's cool, but it's technically not mine. This is my girlfriend's original Nintendo DS. Technically it was her brother's who gave it to her when he got a newer one, but she's had it in her drawer for a while. It's very well used, as you can see by the scratches on the screen there, but that's alright because it obviously means it's loved. I know it's a very common thing for all these hinges to snap, and this one's still in good condition. It's good condition in the way that it's not in 2 pieces right now. Moving on, because that one's not mine, so I don't have much to say about that. So here is a PSP 2000. Probably should have mentioned that's a 2000 as well. This one came in my very first Sendico order. Now, growing up, I never had a PSP. I always thought they were super cool, but I never got one. I didn't even know how much they were, where you could buy them from. I didn't even know too much about them at all. But when I got this one in a Sendico order, it was broken. The screen didn't work at all. Originally, I thought it was the backlight fuse that was damaged. So I tried fixing that, which it turned out not to be that. It was the screen itself. So next Sendico order, I got another screen, whacked it in there, and now it works perfect. This one is soft modded to run games straight off the memory card. That way I don't have to deal with UMD drive because it was pretty laggy. Like, the UMD drive on this works, but it's probably on its way out because I know that they have a lot of issues with these ones. But so yeah, soft modded it so I can run it games straight off the card, and don't worry, the games I had I burnt onto the thing myself, like they were own games that I have, so I have hard copies of them. It's not illegal, don't yell at me. Also, with this one, I managed to get 2 shoulder buttons from a 3000, PSP 3000, because those ones are smoked, whereas the other ones are usually straight clear like this. You can see the difference in the color there. This one's smoked, this one's not. And the silver trim, the trim that's usually silver all around the edge there, I took that off and painted it black as well, and so I could just go for a really stealthy, cool black look. And honestly, this is the best PSP I've ever seen. I love the black on black. Yeah, I don't know, man. PSPs, they're just cool. Plus, I love working on them. They're so easy to work on, which is why I got this one. So this is a PSP 1000, and I decided, hey, because originally it was silver, as you can see from this, I thought, hey, let's go ahead and reshell it. So I bought a new shell for like $30 or $20 off eBay, and I was severely disappointed. The shell quality was the worst I've ever seen. First of all, it didn't come with a joystick, a gold one, so that was really annoying. Second of all, like, this door does not sit in there properly. The ring on the back is lifted. This is actually the rubber from the original PSP shell that I had, because the one that it came with was so brittle that the second I pulled this out, it just fell apart and I had to open up the whole thing again and put a new one on. The battery door doesn't really go in and out properly. Like, it kind of does, but not with a battery in it. And it just feels cheap. And the UMD door, oh man, like, look, you open this up, that works good and fine, but like, you have to like physically pinch the middle really hard to get it to close. So don't get me wrong, if you look at it like this, you're like, oh yeah, cool, that's a nice looking PSP 1000, awesome, that's in gold. But it is terrible. You can see on the buttons here that like the square's off-centered, and it's, look at the gap on the bottom of the UMD door there. That's why. So long story short, don't buy PSP 1000 shells off of eBay because they're terrible. So what I ended up doing with this one is I use it as a parts PSP. So you can see it's missing the charge port, because when I did the replacement of a black one that I had, I used the charge port from this because this is just sitting in a box somewhere not getting used. Although it does look alright from a distance, so maybe I should pop it out and display somewhere. I might actually do that now. But don't buy shells from eBay, they're terrible and it makes me really sad. But anyways, moving on. And finally, I think this is the last one I got, is the Game Boy Advance that I painted. So this Game Boy Advance, as you saw in a previous video, I went ahead and painted the buttons and the shell and put the original sticker back on it. And honestly, I haven't painted a Game Boy shell before, other than I did an SP a while ago and it turned out terribly, but it came up looking awesome. I just really love the blue on white combo. All I really need to do to make this one look a lot better is get some official buttons, fix the yellow on this, that really needs to be retro brighted, maybe I'll do that when I do this as well, and IPS screen, and then, ooh, awesome. But this is the only Game Boy Advance I have in my collection, and it's cool, I like it. Alright, I've been talking for far too long, so thank you so much for watching this video. It's a bit different, but I just wanted to talk about all my consoles. If you like this type of thing, let me know in the comments, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye!